In a land where discipline is sacred and every mistake is a disgrace, one man from Sarajevo decided to break all the rules to save their footballing future. He intentionally created chaos that their minds simply could not process. To break their robotic and predictable style of play, Ivica Osim introduced a training method bordering on madness, playing with more than 10 different colors of bibs at the same time. Players collapse from mental exhaustion, forced to make split-second decisions. Yet behind these revolutionary methods lay a deep personal trauma. Why did this football philosopher refuse to watch his own national team's penalty shootouts, saying he did not want to die on Japan's bench, but rather in his native Sarajevo? The answer to that question hides the secret of his entire philosophy. When Osim arrived in Japan in February 2003 to take over the modest JEF United, he found technically perfect but creatively blocked players. He believed that copying European models was a guaranteed path to mediocrity. He decided to launch a process of Japanization, creating a style based on extreme speed and cognitive agility. That's when the 10-color bibs came into play. Players had to recognize dynamic relationships on the field at full sprint, where the rules change on the fly. Furthermore, he introduced the sequentially passing rule. The ball had to move strictly in numerical order, from 1 to 5. If an opponent intercepts the ball, the sequence immediately resets. The coaching staff and players were on the verge of breakdown because Osim kept the practice plans completely secret until the very last second. He demanded constant alertness. The result? JEF United, a club with no previous trophies, won its first ever cup in history in 2005. The path to the national team bench was wide open. Osim was relentless. After a draw against Qatar in 2007, he delivered such a fierce dressing room speech that he reduced his translator Zen Chida to tears. He told the players they were amateurs and had to be ready to die on the pitch. His statements became an iconic part of Japanese pop culture. When asked about a player's non-contact muscle injury, he quipped, "Does a hare strain a muscle when chased by a lion? The players simply didn't warm up properly." Yet, behind that gruff exterior was a man who cared deeply about the lives of his players and their families. The empathy stemmed from the darkest period of his own life. In 1990, Osim led a powerful Yugoslavia at the World Cup in Italy. As his homeland was tearing itself apart in blood, he balanced between politics and sports, trying to save the impossible. After a quarter-final penalty shootout defeat to Argentina, everything collapsed. In 1992, he resigned while his native Sarajevo was under heavy bombardment. For the rest of his life, he was haunted by the same question: what would have happened if he had beaten Argentina? Would it have stopped the war? This was why in Japan he could not bring himself to watch the penalty shootout against Australia and South Korea. His heart, scared by the past, simply could not endure it. And just as Japan began to play the football of the future, in November 2007, Osim suffered a stroke. He woke up from his coma asking for the match score, but his era on the Japanese bench was over. Japan repaid him with its highest imperial decorations and a bronze bust in Tokyo. Ivica Osim did not just teach them to play faster, he taught them to think with their own heads. Watch our next video on the greatest tactical revolutions that changed football history forever.